I have a slow coolant leak where I'll use up like, I don't know, like a half gallon of coolant over the course of 1,000 miles. And the paranoia in me has me thinking that it's a potentially blown head gasket. So there's some tests I'm going to do, and obviously I can't replace a head gasket myself. So I'm going to try to find out if it is a blown head gasket or if there's a leak somewhere else in this system. So it's 2013 Ford F-150 XLT 5.0. Last year I replaced the water pump and a bunch of O-rings and stuff inside of it, and it still hasn't resolved it. So it's not a water pump leaking. There's no indication that there's oil mixing in with the coolant, and there's no indication from checking the oil that it's getting into here. Yeah, I probably should have cleaned it first, but I mean the oil looks fine. Just looks high because I'm parked on a hill right now, so it's all going to the back. But I'll get a pressure test on here and we'll find out if there's going to be a pressure drop if I leave like 15 psi on it. Part of the paranoia I have is that I swear to God I can smell something sweet coming out of the exhaust, and you'll get that white smoke on startup. It's not a lot, but it'll go away after like 15 seconds, but it's there. So that's where my paranoia about it is. But we'll find out how much I have to cry about this, a little or a lot. So I'm losing coolant slowly. Yeah, I'm not overheating or anything right now. What's got me paranoid though is that 2.5 years ago, one of the serpentine belts, the tensioner on this side failed. So it was this side, which drives the water pump, power steering, a whole bunch of stuff, and the alternator. So all of a sudden on the road, the temperature went way up, and I started to lose all electronics, and the steering got super hard. It scared the shit out of me because I had no idea what happened. So I've replaced both tensioners. Now I drive around with extra belts in case something like that ever happens again. But it did happen. So if there was an incident that caused it, it was probably that. That happened at about 130,000 miles. I got like, no, it was before that. That happened at like 120,000 miles. I got 135,000 miles on it now. I've replaced all the spark plugs recently. I guess I could pull the spark plugs out to check the piston surfaces and the spark plugs. If one of them is getting steam cleaned, then that's clearly an indication of a head gasket leak. The other thing it could be is that somehow it's getting shot into the intake manifold, and that's why it's not mixing with the oil or the coolant, but somehow that sweet scent is getting into the exhaust. So I can't replace the head gasket myself. I can't even fit the truck in the garage. It's too tall. And I don't have the skills to be able to do it. Every once in a while I hear a slight little gurgle in the cabin. I never thought anything of it. And now I'm wondering if it's air getting into the system and then it's in the heater core. It usually happens right around the time of startup, usually like a minute into it. Never thought about it before, but maybe that's it. So I'll do a visual inspection of the exhaust. I'm gonna do a pressure leak test right now, and then I've got a block tester here. So this will go onto the expansion tank here. Is it a degas tank, whatever it's called? Put that onto here, put the blue fluid in here. If there is combustion gases getting into the cooling system, it's going to have to evacuate out here. It'll be pressuring the system, and by bubbling it through, we'll see if this turns from blue to yellow. That would be a surefire indication that there is a head gasket leak. Besides that, my nuclear option, I bought this, it's still getting below freezing here, so I did that on purpose. I don't like the idea of mechanic in a can very much at all, but I like the theory. This one guy has an alternate way that he uses this, basically flush the entire system out, and Ford made that a pain in the ass because there is no drain on the block. So yeah, you can drain like 6 quarts out of the radiator, and then there's still like 18 quarts of the stuff in it. So a full flush is kind of a pain in the butt because, well, it just is, but I'm thinking about it. This is my nuclear option. I don't want to use it, so I just got it, so I'd be thinking about it for a while. So let's go and get the pressure test started. So that's going to be number 12 here. And we'll go ahead and put 15 pounds on it. So that's just under 15 right there. Oh, I'm already dropping down a bit. This may actually be good news, because if it's a leak elsewhere, I can find that. There is one spot I suspect that it could be. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get to. Actually, everything on this thing is a pain in the ass to get to. I replaced all the O-rings and stuff inside of this Y connector here, but I'm thinking this might be the spot. Maybe we'll see if it's a little bit slippery, but it was raining yesterday too, so I don't know. We'll see if I get a pressure drop. I should probably put some dye into the coolant too. That would help with a black light as well. It's been about a half hour and I've dropped about 2 psi in that time. I've been crawling around under it with a flashlight. I just can't find any leaks that are obvious, but I have lost 2 psi, so it's not fully tight. So I want to get some dye into the coolant, run it for a while, and then figure that out. I'm gonna take this off, and then I will start the truck and watch the exhaust and sniff it. All right, so I should mention it's like 50 degrees outside right now. Well, I'm not there. Okay, so now I'm starting to see a little bit come out, but on a cold engine, the catalytic converter, before it's up to temperature, it's going to be letting some unburned fuel through as well. So I think I really have to be testing it once the thing's hot. So I'm going to let it run for a little bit. So the theory on this block tester is that it's filled with this blue chemical, and this will react with exhaust gases and it will turn yellow if there are exhaust gases present. So you just bubble it through. I'll put it onto the degas chamber thing here, and when the truck is running, I'll bubble it through. If there's a head gasket leak, that means that the combustion is pushing gases in past wherever that leak is and then into the cooling system. So it would be pressurizing the entire system, and the only way, well, I guess if there's a leak, I guess there's one other way it can get out, but the majority of any of those gases should be coming out through here. Built Ford tough. Yeah, that looks tough. Nice. So I can see it, fluid moving around in there. I may have to run it for a little while. So I'm thinking if there's a very, very minor coolant leak in the head gasket, it might take a while for any of the gases to get to here. So I'm going to leave this for a little while just to idle and keep bubbling it through, see if I get anything coming in here. It's been running for over 5 minutes now. I don't know, I've been here for a while. I've been doing this quite a bit off camera too, and it's not reacting. So, I mean, that's good news. I'm just a bit baffled at what could be using up coolant if this is the case. Somebody who knows more about cars, trucks, or anything, if you have an idea, please let me know, because I don't have an idea. Here, I'll show you what it looks like when it reacts with exhaust gases though. Oh, I'm shooting a lot of moisture out of here. All right, so if I put this down here and start bubbling it through, see how it's reacting? Now I got yellow. So, who knows? Oh shoot, I think my neighbor just said hi to me and I just ignored him. That was really rude. Anyway, what do? Just keep topping off with 50/50 every time I get low? Just keep putting a half gallon in there? I really wish I didn't have this problem, but I don't know what to do. So, I'm probably even more confused than when I started. So if you watch this far, thanks for watching.